Hey, leadership family. Sunday, Robert here. I just want to bring you something that I hope can help you today, something you can use today. I know a lot of people take Sunday off or set aside Sunday as a day to, go to church and spend time with family. Me personally, I try to maintain my same daily routine regardless of what day it is. And then I'll also make time to go do that stuff. So, part of my routine that is regardless of what day it is, where I'm at, what's going on. I always get up. I always have some sort of nutritious meal. My go-to is typically like oats, oatmeal, whey protein, things like that. Just enough to get something in my system before I go work out. And then, of course, I spend about probably the next 30 minutes or so in what I call meditation. I joke about it a lot of times. I gotta go marinate. But basically what I'm doing is bringing things to the forefront of my mind and really just getting in deep thought. A lot of times I'll go into a deep sense of visualization as I try to picture things through other people, what they're seeing, what they're feeling, so that I can really get a gauge for how I can help them. And then I'll also, during that time, what it really helps to do is we all have this thing in our mind. It's called the reticular activating system. And it sounds complex, but really what it is it's our way of telling our minds what to focus on. So if we're out looking for food, we're focused on things we can eat. If we're worried about danger or something, we're focusing on that. So if we were at war and an enemy had a specific color uniform, our minds would be hyper-focused on that. Even in the woods, in the dense wooded areas, our minds would be hyper-focused on the sounds, the scents, and the visual indicators that enemy was present. So we can use that to our advantage by training our mind. And I use meditation as that way of training my mind on what I want it to focus on. I do real estate, do a lot of consulting, but I'm always looking for different things out in the world, opportunities for me to help others through consulting, or opportunities that present good deals in real estate, things like that. So my mind's hyper-focused on it because I'm constantly training it throughout the day to look for those indicators of opportunities and things. Well, how do we use this, and what am I talking about right now? So here's something that you can use. Often we talk about, don't get caught up in the what, right? Or the how. Focus more on the who. Focus more on, if I say I want to be a great basketball player, right? Now, obviously, there's the technical skills that we need to practice and employ, but even more important would be looking and saying, who has done this? So we look at people like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and if we look at them, they have habits and rituals that they do that guarantees that success. They're dedicated. They're focused on it. They're constantly watching tape of their opponents to look for ways to expose their weaknesses. They're probably always looking at the new emerging techniques for, training, for physical training, strength training, recovery, supplementation, all those type of things. Their mind's just trained on this purpose, right? So they're in soul alignment, complete alignment with what they want to achieve, and everything they do is focused on that. So when we are trying to achieve something, it's much better to focus on the who. Who do we need to be to get that? So not necessarily how, but who. This can be achieved in something that I like to do with a lot of my career coaching. What I'll do is have the person sit down and write a quick, small paragraph about what it is they want. But then we go through and we start designing their desired resume. So a lot of times they'll start off with something like vice president. And I'll have them go ahead and write a fake resume with those positions on there. So, vice president, what was the task that they had to do? What's below that? What job would you have to do to achieve that? This is similar to, a lot of therapists will use what they call the downward arrow technique, where they find out the higher level fear or thing that's holding you back, right? So we'll say, well, we're scared to go out and pitch this to investors. Well, what's the thing below it well, I'd be embarrassed. Well, what's below that? Well, nobody would like me. I'd be shunned. What's below that? Well, if nobody liked me, I wouldn't have any money. I wouldn't have any whatever. Well, what's below that? Well, I'd be homeless. Well, what's below that? I'd be homeless and I wouldn't be able to eat. And what's below that? I'd die, right? So you're getting like to the very root. Well, here we're kind of doing the same thing. We're saying, okay, vice president, what's below that? Well, probably a regional role. Okay. What's below regional director? Probably a director of a department. Okay. What's below that? Manager. What's below that? Supervisor. So basically we work on that down to the role they've already achieved. So depending on the aspirations, we work downward. And what this allows us to do is focus on sort of a clear understanding of a natural progression and being very realistic, right? We're not going to say we're going to go from supervisor to CEO, but it tells us who we need to be, right? So not just how, but who. So if I'm a supervisor and I want to go to manager, I'll look at that job description that I just wrote, the task that they do, and I'm focusing on getting to that position. So it might say, they responsible for scheduling, responsible for ordering, responsible for, and I'm going to figure out who do I need to become? What would I do daily to become that person? And I'm going to watch and train my mind to watch managers and see what they do, how they talk, how they act, what is their body language? Same thing. Then when I go from there, I'm going to go up to the next one. I'm not going to focus on the CEO level at this point because it's out of the realm of reality to go from supervisor to CEO. And B, I need to first take that next step of who before I can just jump into another who, right? If that, I hope that makes sense. You can't go from who you are now to someone that is completely outside the realm of reality of going to. You need to focus on who you need to be. And this is what people don't understand is that every day you're born, every day you wake up, you're born again. You have the chance to recreate who you want to be. You're not going to instantly become a CEO, but you create that individual through your daily habits, through your daily words, your daily thoughts, and everything. It's the path. It's the journey that creates those people. So we're focusing on creating that person which aligns our steps, aligns our task, aligns our thoughts. And once you have that alignment, it propels you through the fastest straight line journey to achievement. So that's what I would challenge you guys today is to go create that resume and focus on how you get to those positions that you want and you desire, and not focus on what you would have to do, but who you would need to become. I would say that most CEOs aren't waking up and getting on social media and arguing about politics. They have certain things. They're around certain people. They're in certain rooms. Okay. And then just work it all the way down and say, well, most CEOs, what do they have? Most of them have probably master's level degrees, MBAs, masters in accounting, masters in something. They probably all know and understand finance to a high degree. They're probably well-versed in at least human resources and marketing and those different things. So really start to focus on who, not how. Who do you need to become to get the things that you want to have? So instead of do to become, be to have, be do have. Who do you need to be to do the things you need to do to have the things you want to have? Guys, this is a real short, dirty example of what you can expect if you sign up with me through our one-on-one coaching. We sit down, we lay out the exact blueprint, plans, footsteps, business plan that you need to do to get where you want to be. Check us out. Take this, use it. Don't just listen, do. Don't just listen, do. I'm out.